Hi everybody, and welcome back to Lost Genre Reddit Stories. This post is from the subreddit Relationships, and it's by user Deleted, recovered throw array Asgard. My 25 male girlfriend, 22 female, wants to share our incomes. Thing is, I make roughly 7 times as much. Advice please. So here's the deal. My girlfriend and I have been together for a little under 3 years and have been living together for a few months. My girlfriend takes college classes and works part-time. I finished college 2 years ago, quickly got hired by the company I did my internship at, and within a year I got a promotion and a large pay raise, and I am now making roughly $150,000 a year while she makes $20,000 a year. Now, she moved in with me a few months ago into a place I bought, so I pay nearly all costs: mortgage, electricity, water, etc. The only thing she pays herself are non-essentials like Spotify, phone bill, Netflix, and so forth. Recently, we got into a huge fight where she demanded we pool our money together and spend what is left after essential costs together, whereas currently I pay basically every essential and my own crap. I use a bit to enjoy myself and put the rest into my savings. She seems to be jealous I got a lot more to spend, which is not really true since after monthly costs, I put the majority in my savings account. In my eyes, she already gets an easy ride, and honestly, she is just crap with the money she does have. She spends it on crap like stupidly expensive clothes and then complains she is broke at the end of the month. So what do? I hate to put money in the way of a relationship, but if I am honest, I am questioning my relationship as there is no way I am going to let her essentially spend my salary on stupid crap. Well, Opie, the first thing I would say is that it's not you who's putting money in the way of the relationship, it's her. I'm not sure if the term gold digger applies here because she was with you since before you got that job and pay raise, but I'm guessing she feels she should have access to that too. And my advice on that point would be a hard no way. Honestly, like you say, I think she's got a pretty sweet deal. I mean, she's living with you basically for free, which I think is kind of okay, especially because she's not paying any mortgage, and in the case that you guys break up, there won't be a dispute there. However, she should help pay with the other essentials like electricity, internet, gas, that kind of stuff. I mean, if she's so eager to share stuff with you, then how about you just start by sharing expenses? I think that would be my counter proposal. And what about you guys? What would you do if you were in OP's shoes? Let me know in the comment section, and now let's move on to the community comments to see what they said. Small Sacrifice says, she wants to spend the rest? $60,000? Dude. Girlfriend, there is no way I am going to pool money with you because you are not responsible with your own money, let alone with mine. I already pay your expenses and I'm not going to sacrifice more money so you can spend more. Financial responsibility is important to me, and I hope you start making it important to you as well. Narc PTSD says, one thing you could try is income splitting. Both add your combined income together and then see what percentage of her income is in comparison to the total household income. So for example, if you made 150k and she made 20k, your household income would be 170k, to which her income would be 11.7%. Now, this would mean she has to pay 11.7% of all household expenses, which in my eyes would be fair and actually make her pay something instead of depending on you. Blue Eclipse J says, wow, don't give in. She is living with you for free and as you said, you pay for the essentials. Anything extra outside of that, she should pay for. My fiance and I have been together for 6 years, living together for 2. His money is his and my money is mine. He does earn more than me, so he pays the mortgage, because it is his house and I pay all the utilities and buy the groceries. Everything else that is ours, we pay for ourselves. He pays for his car, cell phone, etc. and I pay for my own car, cell phone, etc. Even when we marry, we won't be joining our money together and we both want it that way. No, everyone doesn't have to live like we do, but I just wanted to provide an example of why it doesn't have to be that way. It's okay to keep things separate. You're correct, she has no right to spend your hard-earned salary. And if she is as bad with money as you say, and you pull it together, I don't think you'll be having much like with saving. Don't do it, my friend. You're not putting money before your relationship. You're putting everything you've worked for and are working for, savings, before it, which is completely acceptable. I would too. Can I ask what happened that she wants to pull your money together? Did she not have enough to pay a bill, or did it just come out of nowhere? And Opie responds, I think she's just jealous I have plenty to spend and she does not. In reality, which she refuses to grasp, is that my money goes to essentials first. I take a little less than she makes to spend on dates and myself, and the rest goes in my savings. The real reason she lacks money is simply because she spends her money on crap she does not need. Well, the community agrees that OP should not do what the girlfriend wants. Now, as I usually do, I went through the comment section and I found a lot of information in the comments there, so let's move on with that context and then we finish with the update. Some of you asked about marriage. Well, I am not nearly at the level of marriage yet, so no worries there. Marriage is simply not an option in my mind until I reach the period in my life where I want children, and I am sure I can properly provide for said children presently and in the future. I am a bit of a planner type, I suppose. I just don't want to jump into marriage, have a bunch of kids, and then not be able to fully provide for them. I want to make sure that once I have kids, they won't need student loans and such. Also, I don't want to have a bunch of mini-me's running around until I have enjoyed myself and properly established myself. A very interesting point that came up was religion. I am Catholic in name only, and she is a Muslim in name only. So essentially, we are both pretty much agnostic. She is not practicing and neither is most of her family. By the way, my in-laws are good people and I get along really well with her dad and sister. Sure, she obviously got the cultural influences, which in the long term I am fine with. I am not opposed to me making the money and such and her taking the stay-at-home mother role. The thing is, we are not at that point yet. I am not her husband, I am not the father of her children, and I am not her sugar daddy. And if we are being fair here, in our relationship and how it is arranged, she is already being taken care of to begin with. Anyway, my primary goal at this stage in my life is to work a lot and save a lot of money. That doesn't mean I do not spend on her or myself every now and again, but my primary goal is to make sure I have plenty of money for a rainy day essentially. Currently, I am saving up my money for the final payment of my property. After that, I will likely use a portion of my savings and new income for investments or buying properties to rent out in order to have a constant stream of income aside from working. Whereas her goal, as it stands, is getting through college. However, financially, she does not seem to have a real goal. Her money is essentially something she can freely spend. As such, if she wanted to, she could work more or at least save a huge chunk of her income, which she seems to want to spend on luxury goods. Also, there is no way in all 7 hells I would ever allow anyone to spend all our income each month. That crap is plain idiotic. In any case, if she could budget, I would still not be keen on sharing income, but given she is a spender, I'm not even considering it. I honestly think that is the primary problem here. She just does not seem to grasp budgeting or appreciates the position she is in, which pretty much allows her to pay off her student debts early. Her primary costs each month are new shoes or new bags or new clothes. If she would at the very least cut down some of that, she would not be broke at the end of the month and would have plenty to put in a savings account. I am seriously considering ending our relationship if she presses on the shared finances, and yes, I am seeing the red flags. Honestly, as they say, this is the hill I am willing to die on. I mean, I love her, I do, and I am sure she loves me, so I am under the impression there is more going on here, but when it comes down to it, she sort of needs to bite the bullet on this one. Okay, so now with all that context, we are ready to move on with the update. So I figured since the post sort of blew up and people requested me to make an update to tell them what I ended up doing, well, here goes. In the shortest way possible, I ended up breaking up with her. I realized in part, thanks to some good advice I had gotten, there was more that was bothering me other than the financial part. Thing is, when thinking to myself in the next few days, I felt myself combing over every little detail of our relationship and quickly realized I was putting in way more than what I got back. No, I am not saying I am some perfect saint, but I do think I deserve someone who appreciates what I already do, especially when what I already do so vastly outweighs what she did in our relationship. Also, a big one was the apparent maturity gap between the two of us, which I looked over with my rose-tinted in-love glasses. Whereas I have changed as a person from who I was when we started dating, she is still pretty much the same identical person, and without trying to badmouth her, that is a person you can be with without any issues when you're between 15 and 20, not when you're in a committed relationship thinking about having kids at some point, managing your own finances and planning for the future. And that brings me to the largest issue here, planning. I am a planner. I look out for the future. I am not opposed to wasting some money to do fun stuff while I am young, but I don't want to risk ending up broke and unhappy when I am older because I refused to get serious in my youth. And this is where our personal views seemed to clash to an extent where the good no longer outweighs the bad. She constantly lives in the moment, spends what she can spend, and is sort of used to an easy ride where the biggest things she ever had to worry about are her grades. But for me, I have faced financial issues since I was young, so I know the value of money, and I know that planning can spare you a lot of hurt. I am not saying either of our lives are superior or better. I am saying when you are supposed to be a partnership, but you wildly differ on the most basic foundations of that partnership, there is not much hope. As a result, I realized I did not see myself getting more committed to her, which means you sort of hit a roadblock in your relationship. I mean, I am not a fan of marriage from the get-go, but after such a long time, if you're not even remotely considering it, there is probably a larger issue. This argument about finances brought up a whole load of other issues for me, and honestly, I sort of started to dread what in my mind looked like me being expected to fund a lifestyle that I, from the ground up, do not agree with. I realized I was losing my own self-worth by accepting this sort of stuff, and I realized the fact we had an argument about my money and her demanding to spend half of it made me feel like a glorified ATM. Now, the breakup was really messy, and her dad was a rock during the entire thing. He calmed the situation down a lot, despite him really hating what was happening, but I think he understood. I can't say I'm not gutted about all of this. After all, this is someone I was with for roughly 3 years, and getting used to not having her or her family, to who I was really close to, is difficult. But in the end, after the initial dust settled, I sort of feel liberated and a lot happier than I did a few weeks ago. I wish her nothing but the best in the future, and I know it has to be without me. As for me, I sort of feel like I get to start over. Hopefully find someone a lot more suited to me in the future, but I won't be actively looking for me, as honestly, being single after such a long time in a relationship feels nice. I get to focus what little free time I have on myself, which is something I have not been able to do for a long time. I get to indulge in my hobbies properly and so forth. Anyhow, I want to thank everyone for their advice, and if I was rude to anyone, I am sorry, but at the time I was in a crappy emotional position, but I am doing a lot better now. So whether you figured I was a douche and completely disagreed with me, or whether you think I was a good fellow and figured I was right, or somewhere in the extremes or in the middle, thanks for your advice. Well, OP, even though your relationship ended and you might be hurting a bit, I think it's the best outcome for anyone here. Maybe not for your ex because, no free ride anymore, but at least definitely for you. You sound like a responsible person with a good head on his shoulders, so I'm sure you're gonna be okay. Thanks for sharing and take care. And now let's move on to the next post. This post is from the subreddit Pro Revenge, and it's by user ChuckItBucket. So, I recently had a run-in with UPS. UPS smashed a nearly new MacBook that I sent with them. I asked them nicely to pay me back for it, and they arsed about, blaming me, blaming my packaging, saying it was impossible they damaged it, etc. I was able to prove my packaging was flawless, and get a statement from the Apple shop that basically said that the damage was caused by it being dropped or thrown. I could also prove it worked when I sent it. They weren't interested and messed me about for weeks, sending me from pillar to post, even threatening to make me pay interest on custom charges which I wasn't liable for as the laptop was smashed on arrival and thus worthless at import. I took it to small claims. They hired a lawyer who sent me letters saying they contested it and would go for full fees, etc. if I lost. I went for it anyway. I did some law stuff at university, so I knew the basics and I thought my case was pretty clear cut. I won. I won my costs back, plus extra, plus interest. They ignored the court order and did not pay. Now, this laptop was originally being sent to my beloved mother-in-law. She asked me to help her with the problem as UPS was also seriously harassing her for the custom fees. However, very unexpectedly, before I could resolve it, she passed away. It was the last thing she ever asked me to do for her. I loved that woman more than pretty much any human on this planet. She was my mother, my best friend, and my mentor. Taking down UPS was now my personal vendetta. I researched my options. I could have taken the usual, more conservative legal routes to reclaim my money. But no, F them. I don't care about the money anymore. I want revenge. I want drama. I want karmic justice. I went to the High Court. I got rid of control. I, of course, added on more fees and more interest. I then hired the most aggressive bailiff firm in London. I trusted that the crappy process and attitude of UPS meant they would ignore the letters and actually get a visit. They did. The bailiffs rock up at UPS headquarters and explain the situation. UPS refused to pay, so the bailiffs start listing goods. Security tries to make them leave. The office manager tries to bully them out. Obviously, no craps were given by the bailiffs and they crack on with their jobs. I wasn't allowed the body cam footage, but they did send me a detailed report. The final conclusion is copied from it below. Calls were made to the accounts manager who arrived in a hurry. As no payment was forthcoming from them, the agent again explained the removal process and costs involved and called the office for approval to begin removals. The agent began to seize assets. The finance director then arrived on the scene. He was not at all happy about the attendance, but ultimately agreed to pay a voluntary payment in full from his personal account in order to stop the removal. I know it's a drop in the ocean to UPS, but I got more than double what I originally asked for to replace the laptop. They would have had to pay even more on top of fees to the bailiffs. I reckon it cost them at least 3 times more than the original claim in the end. But mostly, I just enjoy the mental image of the flustered finance director and his impotent rage, having to pay his own money to stop the heavies from taking away computers and fancy pop plans and things out of their swanky head office lobby. Wow, OP, awesome! You took down UPS, fantastic! Your mother-in-law would be proud. It doesn't matter how much money they had to pay, they just couldn't bully you, and that's the important part. Thanks so much for sharing, OP, and take care. And it's that time that we've reached the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed today's stories. I really did enjoy reading them to you. So if you did, then don't be shy and go ahead and give the video a like. And don't forget to subscribe or even share this video with people that you might think will enjoy my storytelling. Also, if you have the time, go down to the video description and check out all the links I have for you, from our Discord community to my channel merch. And finally, I'd like to say thank you for watching. It really means a lot to me that you enjoy my videos. And having said all that, I'll see you guys in the next video.